Losing belly fat can honestly feel impossible, and the worst part is that half of the advice online makes you actually gain belly fat instead of lose it. A couple years ago, I followed that advice. I gained 30 pounds, my testosterone levels crashed to 150, which is clinically low, and I developed a binge eating disorder. But once I stopped doing what everyone else recommended, and I built my own system, I lost 28 of those 30 pounds. I stripped my midsection down to lean muscle tissue, and it only took me 97 days to do so. That's exactly why I'm not gonna promise you a 1-week transformation. Instead, I'm going to show you the exact opposite of what most people do, a simple, realistic system that actually works long term. Because the ultimate goal isn't to just lose fat once in your life, it's to keep the fat off forever. Look at Adrian. He was stuck at 21% body fat for years. Within 4.5 months of me implementing this system though into his life, his belly fat was completely gone. Or Steven, he's 63 years old. He followed this same process I'm about to teach you, and he got a six-pack that most 23-year-olds, people a third of his age, would be jealous of. This isn't a 1-week transformation. It's a 12-week system that actually works long-term so you can keep results. And in this video, I'm walking you through the entire plan week by week so that you know exactly what to do and how to finally get rid of your belly fat the smart way. But before we go into this any further, I need to explain what belly fat actually is. And I know it's not the most exciting topic to kick off with. I mean, you probably didn't wake up this morning thinking, man, I really hope someone explains adipose tissue to me today, but it'll make the rest of the video make sense. Belly fat is simply the extra fat your body stores around your stomach when you keep eating a little bit more than you burn, and it actually comes in two forms. The first one is called subcutaneous fat, which is the soft layer that's right under your skin. It's mostly harmless and more of a visual problem than a health one. You know, the kind that makes you avoid certain camera angles. But the second one is visceral fat, which is that deeper layer that actually builds up and it's behind your abs and it starts wrapping itself around your organs. And if it sounds scary, good, because that's the one that can cause real health issues. It lowers testosterone, it drains your energy, and increases the health risks across the board. There's a paper published in the British Journal of Radiology that actually broke this down into detail. The researchers analyzed medical imaging from people with different levels of body fat and found that the fat sitting deep inside the abdomen, the visceral fat, it behaves completely differently from the fat just under your skin. It doesn't just store calories, it acts as a hormonal organ, constantly releasing harmful chemicals that actually mess up how your body uses energy. People with higher visceral fat in the study showed stronger links to things like insulin resistance, heart disease, and even certain cancers. So unlike the fat that you could just, grab with your hand, this one quietly changes the chemistry inside your body. Now, I know all of that firsthand. A couple years ago, I gained over 30 pounds. It completely threw my body off. I hated waking up. My testosterone, again, was at 150, clinically low. I even started developing a binge eating disorder that just made everything worse. The most annoying part about my belly fat is that I realized that it's usually the last place that your body wants to let go of. It seems like you can lose fat everywhere else and your stomach still hangs on to that fat like it's its life savings. That's what pushed me to figure out this process, to stop wasting time doing random workouts or starving myself and finally understand what actually works. With this, I realized that there are a few key things that truly matter if you want to get rid of the belly fat for good. Turns out you don't need to drink celery juice at sunrise or sacrifice your social life. But I do call these the 3 pillars of fat loss. The first one, and the most important one, is your calories. The other two I'm going to show you in just a couple of minutes, but let's start here. You see, calories aren't as simple as just eat less than you burn. That's what you usually hear, but it's not actually how your body works. Because your body doesn't just sit there waiting for food to come in. It's constantly adjusting to how much you give it. When you drop your calories too low, your body doesn't just keep burning fat at the same pace. It actually slows things down, mainly being that you just move a little bit less without noticing. And the longer that lasts, the harder it gets to keep losing fat. So when we talk about calories, we're not just talking about how much food you eat, we're talking about how your body uses that fuel for energy. There are 3 main things that decide how many calories your body is going to burn every day. But the one that most people completely overlook and the one that actually makes the biggest difference in fat loss is what's going to be called the thermic effect of food. This just means how many calories your body is going to spend digesting what you eat. And this is where things get really interesting. Not all foods take the same effort to break down. You see, carbs and fats are easy. Your body barely has to work to process them. But protein is completely different. Your body burns a big chunk of the calories from protein by just breaking it apart and turning it into something usable. To put it simply, when you eat protein, your body literally has to spend more energy to process it at around 20 to 30% of the total calories get burned during digestion, while carbs and fats are around 5 to 10%. That's a huge difference. So even when you're eating, protein keeps your metabolism higher. It's like your body is just doing a little bit of extra work in the background all day without you even having to move more. That's why every smart fat loss plan is going to put protein first. It's going to keep you full, it protects your muscle, and it helps your body burn more energy naturally. When you eat less but drop protein too low, your body loses that advantage. You don't burn as much as you used to. Your hunger goes up and your muscle starts breaking down, which makes it even harder to burn fat. This is the part we're going to focus on first because it's honestly going to be the most powerful thing that you can control right now. Once you understand how to use protein to keep your metabolism active, everything else in your plan just is going to start working better. And that's exactly what week 1 is about. Learning how to control your calories the smart way and making your body work with you instead of against you. Week 1. The first priority for this week is to find out how much you're eating right now. Most people think that they know, but when you look at the actual numbers, it's almost always off by like 20 to 30%. It turns out that that small handful of almonds that you've just been munching on is actually 47 almonds and 400 calories. That difference is the same reason that some people swear that they can't lose weight even though they're eating clean. So here's how you find out your real number. Option 1 is to use a calorie tracking app like MyFitnessPal or MacroFactor. And yeah, I know tracking food sounds about as fun as filing taxes, but it works. For 1 or 2 days, eat exactly as you normally would. Don't even try to diet yet. Just eat normally and track every single thing that goes into your mouth. Once you're done, you're gonna get your real daily average. That's the number that shows how much you've been maintaining your current weight on. And if you're too lazy with that, which fair, there is another option that you can do, like a calculator online, calculator.net to be more specific. And when you go there, it's just going to ask for your biostats and your daily activity level. Once you fill that in and just click calculate, it'll show you your numbers, your maintenance calories, and your mild, normal, and extreme weight loss targets. Here's how you use all of this information. Your goal for week 1 is to start in the mild weight loss range, which usually sits around 20 to 25% below your maintenance calories. That means if your calculator says that your maintenance is 2,600 calories, you're going to start at around 2,000 to 2,100. That's your daily target every day for the week. You're not trying to go extreme here. If you cut too hard, your energy is going to drop, your hunger is going to spike. So maybe check your math twice. What you want is steady fat loss that you can actually sustain. That 20% range is where the body can start to burn fat without fighting back. Think of your body like a bank account. Most people think about fat loss as just withdrawing more than you deposit, but your body isn't a dumb calculator, it's a smart accountant. When you slash your deposits too low, your accountant, which is your metabolism, starts cutting expenses everywhere. You move less without noticing, your body temperature drops, you get hungrier. That's why the eat less, move more advice is gonna fail. We're not just managing a bank account, we're negotiating with a smart accountant who will fight back. Once you know your calorie range, the next step is to structure your meals in a way that keeps you full and energized throughout the day. So introducing protein. Protein isn't just about building muscle. It controls how your body burns energy and how long you're gonna stay full. Here's something crazy. When you eat 200 grams of protein, that's 800 calories. Your body automatically burns 200 to 240 of those calories just breaking it down. That's like getting a free 20-minute run in every single day without moving. Meanwhile, if you ate that same 800 calories but in carbs or fat, then you would only burn 40 to 80 calories processing them. This is why every smart fat loss plan puts protein first. Now let's talk about how to actually hit that target. A good rule of thumb is to eat roughly 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. So if you weigh 180 pounds, that's 180 grams of protein, which equals around 720 calories from protein. So if your total daily intake is 2,000 calories, protein is going to take up about 35 to 40% of your total calories, and that's exactly where you want it for maximum fat loss and muscle retention. Once you know that, you can just start building your meals around it. A thing to note though, if you're over 25% body fat, try to make your protein goal for your desired weight. So if you weigh 300 pounds and you want to get down to 200, aim for 200 grams of protein per day. That will make it much easier to actually do this and not leave you homeless at the end of month 3 because of all those protein prices nowadays. Here's how simple this is, because you don't need complicated recipes or strict meal plans. You literally just need to build each meal around a solid protein source that you actually enjoy. For breakfast, maybe that's 4 whole eggs with some oatmeal. That's 35 grams of protein right there. For lunch, maybe it's 200 grams of chicken and some potatoes and veggies, which is another 50 grams. For dinner, lean beef or fish with rice and greens, that's literally 50 grams of easy protein. And then maybe for one more snack, if you want to use Greek yogurt or a protein shake, that's going to add another 20 to 40 grams. That puts you alone at your target right there. And here's the key: pick proteins you actually like eating. If you hate chicken, eat steak. If you hate Greek yogurt, drink a shake. The best protein source is the one that you're gonna consistently eat. You could literally pick a full Quest protein pizza for all I care, but hit your damn daily total and make sure it's something that you like to eat. And as a quick side note, you won't get big or bulky from eating extra protein. So if your protein target for the day is 180 grams and you eat 250, great. Enjoy the protein farts, but besides that, you're gonna be totally fine. When you build your meals like this, your blood sugar is gonna stay stable, your hunger is gonna stay under control, and your body is gonna stop consistently changing quick energy from carbs and sugar. That means that there's gonna be less snacking, there's gonna be less fatigue, and a smoother fat burning process overall. Now let's talk about accuracy, because this is where people fall off without realizing it. Weigh your food if you can. Even if it's just for 2 or 3 meals, it's just to get an idea of portion sizes. Remember, this is only week 1. You don't have to do this forever, but it is very helpful in the first week, because once you get used to what 200 grams of chicken or 50 grams of oats looks like, you're not going to have to track it forever. You'll just know. And this is coming from somebody who lives with OCD every single day. You don't have to be 100% perfect with tracking to make progress. And that first week, it's literally all about awareness anyways. You're learning how your current habits line up with what your body actually needs to start losing fat. And the moment you line those two things up, you'll notice your energy goes up, your hunger becomes predictable, and your body's going to start responding. By the end of this week, you should know 3 things: how many calories you maintain on, how many you're eating right now, and how much protein you're consistently getting. Once you have that locked in, the rest, it literally just becomes simple math. You'll know exactly what's going in and how to adjust when you need to. To sum it up, here is your week 1 checklist. First, find your maintenance calories using either the tracking app or the calculator. Reduce that number by around 20 to 25%. Hit your protein target every day. Build every meal around protein and stay consistent for the full week. In comes week 2. Now that you got a good handle on your calories and your protein from week 1, it's time to kind of add in that next step. This is going to be the second pillar, which is your exercise. And here we're going to focus entirely on your core, because when people start losing fat, they think that the core is just about getting visible abs. But what most people don't realize is that your core is what is going to control almost everything you do in the gym. It stabilizes you when you lift. It keeps your posture strong. And it's the center point of pretty much every single movement that actually burns calories. Now, here's something most people get wrong. They think doing 100 crunches is going to burn belly fat. It won't. You can't spot reduce fat. But here's what does happen. When you build a stronger core, you move better in every other exercise. You're going to lift more weight, you're going to burn more total calories, and when the fat finally comes off, you're going to have something to show underneath. A strong core keeps your posture tight, which makes you look even leaner before you've lost all of the fat. So when we build a stronger core, we're not just doing it to make your midsection look good. We're doing it to make your entire body work better. Plus, you're going to stop looking like you're folding in half every time you pick something up. But when I say core training, I don't mean doing hour-long routines or those twisting bicycle moves that you see on Instagram. Those are mostly like hip flexor exercises anyway. They do very little for your abs. Side note, we're going to train your core the way that it's actually meant to function. Your core has 3 major jobs: resisting extension, resisting rotation, and then resisting side bending. So for this plan, all we're going to do is to train those 3 functions directly. This is what is actually going to build a dense, strong looking midsection. So let's start with the first one, which is resisting extension. That basically means keeping your ribs and hips stacked instead of letting your lower back arch when you move. If you can master this one thing, your whole core strength changes. So for this, you could do something like an ab wheel rollout. Start on your knees, keep your ribs tucked down, and slowly roll out until you feel your abs get stretched. Go as far out as you can without letting your lower back arch, emphasis on that, and then pull yourself back in. If that feels too hard, then you can do the exact same thing using a stability ball. It's the same idea, just a little bit easier to control. And if you don't have any equipment at all, you can just do a long lever plank. Move your elbows a few inches further forward than normal and just hold that position while keeping your abs locked in. And if you start shaking like a leaf, that means it's working. Next, we've got the second function, which is going to be resisting rotation. This is what's going to keep your core stable when you're pressing, pulling, or carrying weight on one side. Most people completely ignore this one, and it's a big reason why their waist never really looks tighter even when they lose the weight. To train this, you can do something like a Pallof press. You can attach a band or a cable at chest height, stand sideways to it, and just press your hands straight out in front of you without letting your torso, your body, twist. Hold for a second at full extension and then bring it back in. Another great option is going to be a half kneeling anti-rotation hold. Set it up the same way, but this time get down on one knee with the cable coming from the side, brace your abs, and then just hold that position for 20 to 30 seconds without moving. That one's surprisingly tough if you do it right. And finally, we have the third function, which is going to be resisting side bending. And this is what builds those strong obliques that look tight and athletic for your waist. You can start with something as simple as a suitcase carry. Just grab one dumbbell in hand, stand tall, and walk for about 20 to 30 meters while keeping your body completely upright. Don't lean toward one way or away from the weight. Just stand tall and let your abs do the work. And if you don't have space to walk, you can literally just hold the weight in place for 30 seconds on each side. Or if you want to do this on the floor, I highly recommend doing a side plank. There's a ton of great ab exercises as well that are going to work your total core in a full range of motion, which is what's going to give it that most aesthetic appeal. But we're training core for more than just that. We want to be functionally strong. So for week 2, here's what I want you to do. 3 days this week, at the end of your normal workouts, I want you to run through one exercise for each of those 3 core functions. For example, on day 1, you could do the ab wheel rollouts, you could do the Pallof press, and the suitcase carries. Then on your second day, you could do a long lever plank, half kneeling anti-rotation holds, and then also side planks. And on your third day, just literally pick whichever you enjoyed the most from the first 2 days. Each time you're doing 2 sets per exercise, aiming for about 8 to 12 controlled reps or 20 to 30 seconds of hold time. Rest for about a minute between sets and make sure that every rep feels intentional. If your ribs pop up or your back starts to arch, that's where you stop. Also, don't forget to actually keep control of your calories and protein like we learned in week 1. Just because it's a new week, that doesn't mean that we stop doing what we learned in the first one. Now, for the third week, we're going to add in that final pillar that's just going to tie everything together. By this point, you've nailed 2 huge pieces, your calories and your core training. But now we're locking in that one part that most people never even think of until it's too late. And this is the one thing that can either accelerate your fat loss or completely sabotage everything you just built. I'm talking about recovery. And I saved this one for week 3 for a reason. In the first 2 weeks, your body is adapting to new stress. It's eating fewer calories, it's training more, and has better routines. You're basically teaching it a new language, or at least trying to. If we added recovery optimization on top of that in week 1, it would have just gone in one ear and out the other. But now that you've got your rhythm down, we can actually go a little bit deeper and start to make this count. So let's dive in. Recovery isn't just resting. It's a full biological process that resets your hormones, it repairs your muscle tissue, and it tells your body, hey, it's safe to keep burning fat. And the biggest factor that controls all of this is going to be sleep, without a doubt. So that's what we're going to be focusing on this week. Remember when I told you that my testosterone dropped to 150? A huge part of that was that I was only sleeping 4 to 6 hours a night. I thought I was being productive. I was grinding harder than everyone else, but it turns out I was just speed running hormonal dysfunction while literally destroying my body's own ability to burn fat. While when I finally committed to 8 hours of sleep every night, my testosterone literally just started climbing within weeks. I was watching the numbers improve on my follow-up blood tests. Sleep isn't a nice thing to have. It's the foundation everything else is built on. Now, when I say sleep, most people think that it's just about getting those 8 hours. That's part of it. Yes, but it's not all of it. You could be in bed for 8 hours and still wake up feeling like a mess. The real progress happens inside of the different stages of sleep, and understanding them is what's going to help you actually recover. So here's how it works. Your body cycles through 4 main stages multiple times per night. Stage 1 and 2 are light sleep, which is where your body's temperature starts dropping, your heart rate slows a little bit, and then your nervous system begins to wind down. Then you hit deep sleep. That's also known as the slow wave sleep. And this is where your body is going to release most of its growth hormone and testosterone. That's literally when your muscle repairs, your fat burning hormones peak, and then your body resets its insulin sensitivity. Then comes in REM sleep, which is the fourth, which is where your brain consolidates information, it balances emotions, and it fine-tunes neurotransmitters like dopamine or serotonin. Now, here's why this matters for fat loss, because when you cut sleep short, you cut off deep sleep first. That means lower growth hormone, lower testosterone, higher cortisol, basically telling your body, hey, let's hold on to all of that fat and maybe we can burn some muscle. Also, one night of bad sleep can reduce your body's ability to regulate glucose by up to 30% the next day, which is why after a short night, you crave junk food. Your brain's basically running on fumes and demanding the fastest fuel possible, which is why you find yourself standing in front of the fridge at 2 a.m. eating shredded cheese directly from the bag. So if you want to burn fat effectively, then you need to protect deep sleep like it's literally part of your workout plan, because it is. And here's how you actually do that. First, fix your circadian rhythm. Your body runs on a 24-hour clock controlled by light exposure, temperature, and consistency. So every morning, get light in your eyes as soon as possible. Not your phone. I'm talking about actual daylight. 5 to 10 minutes outdoors within an hour of waking literally anchors your body clock, and it sets your cortisol spike for the morning. It also tells your brain when to start producing melatonin later that night. Then do the same thing at night. Just dim your lights and avoid blue light for 30 to 60 minutes before bed. If you're staring at screens, use a warm color filter, lower brightness, or put on some really cool red light glasses like I use. But honestly, nothing is going to just beat turning off the screens entirely. Now, actually, there's a really interesting study that backs this up, published in the International Journal of Endocrinology in March of 2015. They looked at how sleep and circadian rhythm affect hormones like growth hormone, cortisol, leptin, ghrelin, basically all of the ones that are going to control how your body burns fat and manages hunger. What they found out was that when people don't get proper deep sleep, or when their sleep schedule is all over the place, those hormones go completely out of sync. Growth hormone and testosterone drop, cortisol rises, and then your body starts having trouble controlling glucose and storing fat. I mean, even short-term sleep restriction caused insulin resistance, which just means that your body literally becomes worse at using the food you eat for energy. And over time, that's what leads to higher body fat, worse appetite, and slower metabolism. So to put it simply, your body treats sleep, bad sleep, like a bad diet. It stores more, it burns less, and it craves food more. So when we talk about sleep being part of your fat loss plan, it's not just an added bonus, it's a crucial lever to pull to maximize your fat loss. Next, control your body temperature. Your core temperature needs to drop about 1 degree Celsius for deep sleep to kick in. So keep your room between 18 and 20 degrees Celsius, or about 64 to 68 degrees Fahrenheit. If your room is warm, you can actually trick your body by just taking a warm shower about an hour before bed. I do this sometimes, and it actually dilates your blood vessels and it helps you cool off faster once you get under those covers. Third, use nutritional recovery cues. 2 to 3 hours before bed, try to keep your last full meal to be balanced. So a higher or moderate amount of protein, slower digesting carbs like oats, and then a little bit of fats. That combo increases tryptophan availability, which is going to help your brain produce serotonin and then melatonin naturally. Basically, this is crazy good for your sleep. If you're still hungry before bed, then a small snack like some non-fat Greek yogurt or a casein shake can help slow digesting protein, keep your blood sugar steady through the night, and then the added protein regulation helps you build muscle. That's it. So for this week, your main addition to calories and training is simple. Just sleep 8 hours in a cold, dark room, go to bed and wake up at roughly the same time, even on the weekends. Now for the next week, we're going to pull all 3 pillars together and start building momentum into month 2, where things are going to really start to change. But before that, we need to cover week 4. So here's exactly what I want you to do this week. First, recheck your calories. By this point, your body weight has already dropped a little, which means that your maintenance number has changed. Go back to the calculator or the tracker that you used in the prior weeks and just plug in your new weight. Then see what your updated maintenance looks like. So if your goal is steady fat loss, then you still want to sit around 20 to 25% below maintenance range. So if your maintenance went down by 100 calories, just literally shave that off your daily total. That's it. One quick thing that I'll add, because I know a lot of people hate the idea of just steadily lowering calories, you can also add in an extra 100 calories burned and keep your progression going at the same rate. So instead of removing 30 grams of white rice, you can literally just walk an additional 2,000 steps every day or go on a 7 to 10 minute jog. That's literally it, and you could change nothing else. Second, look at your consistency. If you hit your calorie target 5 or 6 days out of 7, that's pretty solid. If you only nailed it twice, you have to fix that before changing anything else, because consistency is going to beat perfection here. Your body responds to what you do the most over time, not what you do once in a while. Third, keep your protein steady. Don't chase variety or switch things up too soon. Just try to keep hitting that 1 gram per pound of body weight. The goal right now is to make this routine, to make eating high protein automatic instead of something that you feel like you have to constantly think about. You'll notice that your hunger probably gets a little bit more predictable and your energy balance between meals is going to stay more stable. Now, for your training, nothing changes in structure. I still want you doing that core work 3 times per week. The only small change I want you focusing on is going to be increasing intensity. If last week, let's say you stopped a set where it felt like about a 7 out of 10 RPE or effort level, then this week I want you to take it to an 8 or a 9. That just means 1 or 2 extra controlled reps or a slightly heavier band, or maybe a few more seconds on your planks and carries. Nothing too crazy, just enough to show your body that you're progressing. Now, one quick checkpoint for this week is take note of how your clothes fit, not just your scale. Around week 4, that's typically when people start to notice their stomach feeling tighter, their waistline is going to be shrinking slightly, and their posture is going to be improving because of the core work. That's your sign that the progress is working, not that the number on the scale is bouncing around. So to sum up week 4, here's your plan. Recalculate your calories to stay 20 to 25% below maintenance. Keep hitting your protein target every day. Stick with that simple 3 core workout per week, but increase intensity slightly, and then just keep your recovery routine locked in. And track progress using how your clothes fit, your energy levels, and your consistency. That's literally it. So you've completed the foundation phase. You've learned how to eat, you've learned how to train, and how to recover. From here, month 2 is where we start layering intensity and bringing out visible definition. Month 2. This month is all about pushing your body to start releasing that deeper layer of fat that it's been holding on to. And the reason that we're doing this month by month now instead of week by week is because this phase is all about repetition and consistency. You're not learning any new skills anymore. You're just mastering the ones that you've already built. So let's start with your calories. At this point, your body has already adapted a bit. So if you've lost a few pounds, that means that your maintenance number has slightly adjusted too. So what you want to do is you want to drop your calories by a small margin, 100 to about 150 calories below what you did last month. That's enough to restart fat loss without making you feel drained or flat. If you were eating around 2,000, now you're going to sit a little bit closer to 1,850 or 1,900. Keep your protein right where it is. 1 gram per pound of body weight, super simple. Keep that there. Next, training. You're already doing those 3 core sessions per week, but now we're increasing the overall challenge. The key here isn't to add new movements, it's just to make the ones that you're already doing harder. That could mean using a heavier band, maybe adding an additional set to your ab rollouts, or if you're recovering well, then you could literally just bump up your core sessions from 3 to 4 times a week. But only if you feel like your body is ready for it. Now, recovery is where people tend to slip once they start pushing harder. But when you train harder, you recover harder. Stick to your sleep routine from week 3. Same timing, same light exposure, same environment. In other words, yes, please still go to bed like a responsible adult. And if your sleep starts getting worse, that is the first thing to fix before touching anything else. Because the better your recovery, the faster you're gonna lose fat and the tighter your body is gonna look week by week. Here's what I want you to notice this month. As your body fat drops, changes are going to start to show in your posture, your stomach, and even your energy throughout the day. You're going to wake up a little bit lighter, your core is going to start feeling stronger and tighter, and that little morning bloat is going to start disappearing. So this month is simple. Just keep your structure, raise your intensity, drop your calories slightly, but keep the protein high, increase the challenge in your core sessions, and protect recovery like it's your job. Finally, we're at month 3. This is it, the final month. Everything you've done up until this point was just building the foundation, but now the goal shifts. We're not just burning fat anymore. We're revealing what you've built underneath. Think of this phase as a cleanup. You're leaner, stronger, your metabolism is firing faster than when you started. Now we're just tightening the edges. Think of it like sculpting. So months 1 and 2, we're removing the big chunks of marble. Month 3 is where we're going to refine the details and really bring out that definition. So here's what that looks like. For calories, drop just a little bit lower, around 100 less than what you did last month. You don't want to starve yourself, and you just want to give your body that final nudge to dip into stubborn fat. Keep your protein exactly the same. Super simple there. And your training, start to focus on precision. Your core work stays the same 3 or 4 days a week, but now you focus on control and detail. Try to make every rep a little bit more intentional. So a little bit slower, maybe your sets are tighter, and just try not to waste any movement. And for recovery, this is the month where it actually matters the most because you're leaner now, which means that your body has less buffer to handle fatigue. Stick to your sleep routine, stay hydrated, and if you start to feel drained halfway through the month, literally just bump your calories up to maintenance for 1 day. That single refeed, it resets your hormones, it brings your energy right back up. All right, so by now you know actually what it takes to lose belly fat, and it's probably a little bit simpler than you thought. You learned how to manage your calories without overcomplicating it. You learned how to eat in a way that's going to keep your energy up, and you know how to train your core the right way so that it actually shows, and how to recover so that your body keeps working with you instead of against you. And honestly, you don't have to get every single thing perfect. If you mess up one day, just try not to mess up 2. If you go over on calories, that's fine. Just get back to your usual meals tomorrow. Progress comes from showing up most of the time, not all of the time. So if you ever feel stuck with your food, then just keep it simple. Pick the stuff that you already like and just make sure that there's some protein on your plate. It doesn't have to be complicated. It literally just has to be consistent enough to work. So don't overthink it. If you actually stick with this, your belly fat will be completely gone. You'll feel lighter, stronger, and way more confident. And if you want this entire system personalized to your life, just like how I did for Sean and for Michael, then check out the first link in the description to work with me personally. And one more thing, everything I just taught you works even better when you understand how to build muscle at the same time. So check out my video on body recomposition where I show you how to lose fat and build muscle simultaneously. That's going to be the real game changer. Thanks for watching.